meditation is a formless practice, we still need the form. Especially in Chan tradition, there's no fixed form. Practice could be in any situation, in the face of any situation. But what's interesting is that in the Chan tradition, there are actually many methods that not only in ancient times the masters were using, but that in our modern Dharma drum lineage, um, we use all kinds of methods, including chanting the Buddha's name, which some people find strange that in a Chan school people are reciting the Buddha's name. But in Chinese Buddhism, there wasn't such a clear delineation saying, okay, I'm in the Chan school, so I only practice silent illumination or Huatou, and then this person's only in the Pure Lands uh, school, so they only practice Buddha name recitation. It was more like people just use whatever method was appropriate for their needs. It could be reciting Amitabha. But if they happen to meet with a skillful Chan teacher, that method could eventually become a Huatou. Who is reciting? So reciting the Buddha's name can calm the mind, and eventually it can be used to reflect on, what is that true nature? Who is reciting the Buddha's name? If there's no self, then who's really reciting? If there's no soul inside there, who is reciting? So all these methods can go from form and eventually become formless. The Huatou method eventually becomes formless, where you're not even asking that question anymore, right? And there's just this deep wanting to know what is my most this essential part of the mind. But the basic premise is it's it's using a question to help us explore our mind. As opposed to, for example, reciting the Buddha's name. It's just Amitabha, 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 Amitabha. And you just recite it repeatedly as a way to calm the mind and help to just let go of distracting thinking. Huatou is then asking a question of uh, what is the source of where this word comes from? What is the mind if Amitabha is just a thought? That word, that phrase, Amitabha, is just a passing thought, then what's behind that? The 本来面目, which I think you asked about last time, 本来面目, that term within Chan Buddhism refers to the most essential quality of the human mind, which has no form, which is not a thing, but it's a capacity to be aware. The ability to be aware, the ability to recite the Buddha's name, what is that? What's the most essential aspect of our mind? So we ask the question, who is reciting the Buddha's name? That's the Huatou method. Who is reciting the Buddha's name? You bring up the question and you let that question sit in yourself, in your mind. Who is reciting the Buddha's name? Am I reciting the Buddha's name? Who is this I? I is also just a passing thought. We say I every day. I woke up today. I slept late yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to do this and that. But who is the I? Is there someone? Buddhism says the I doesn't exist, but um, we're still reciting. So who is reciting? Right? So that's the approach to the Huatou. And you don't answer it, but you just explore the mind on deeper and deeper levels um, of what's beneath all these passing thoughts. Because this question minimizes all the other thoughts that we could be thinking. And there's just one thought. There's only this one question, or we intentionally just bring up this one question. Who is reciting the Buddha's name? we don't answer it like, oh, it's me, this is my name, this is who I am. You're not answering it. You're just bringing up this question, and it generates what's translated as doubt. The Chinese is 疑情, 怀疑的疑, or 疑问的疑, and you bring up this questioning sense. But you're not thinking about it. You're not trying to answer it. It's this one simple question is like clearing out all of the other millions of distracting thoughts that are flowing through until there's no other thought left except this one question, and this wanting to know clears everything out until eventually the Huatou is also gone and the questioning is also gone. And that's the answer. The mind that doesn't come or go, or that doesn't arise and fall, whatever's left, that's the Benai Mian Mu, or original face, or our Buddha nature. So that's the short short explanation of Huatou and how it goes from form to formlessness. Oh, that question. I think she asked if we're all already Buddhas already, right? Then what is there any talk of progress or personal development? And if there's time is beginningless, that question sounded very philosophical. I don't remember exactly how he answered, but I think it was good that in a way he avoided the philosophical trap the person presented, because it sounds like they wanted to hear, if there's beginningless time and there's no time, then we're already Buddhas. It was like clearly a thinking or theoretical question, because if she was a Buddha already, she wouldn't have this question. And Buddhism doesn't say we're all already Buddhas. It just says we all have the potential for Buddha or wakefulness. That's Buddha nature. We all have the potential for insight into our nature that relieves suffering. It doesn't mean we're already Buddhas. And I think many people ask that question, or like pose that perspective, because there are some teachings within Buddhism that say as soon as you generate the aspiration to practice and the aspiration um, to help others, you've already achieved Buddhahood. And I think it's the Avatamsaka Sutra, the Huayan Jing. It's something like I can't remember the exact sutra text, but it's like uh, 一发菩提心，即时成佛. As soon as you give rise to the Bodhi mind, or this aspiration, you've already achieved Buddhahood. But it doesn't mean that is like for someone who just starts practicing Buddhism, they're like, yeah, I wanna wake up and I wanna help people. That dong, it's like they're all of a sudden Buddhas. It just means that as soon as we develop that aspiration, we've definitely sown the seed for the future fruit of Buddhahood. You've planted the seed. So inevitably, sooner or later, that person will realize their Buddha nature completely and be a Buddha.